Okay, today we're going to talk about everything from these guys. Hi everyone, if you're new to the channel, I'm Fraser and I have now solo cruised with 7 different cruise lines. Now, the purpose of this channel really is to hopefully help you with the realisation that there's a cruise ship and a cruise line for absolutely everybody. You just have to find it. And hopefully, over the next few weeks and over the next couple of months, I can help you make the decision of which cruise line would be right for you, and also which cruise line you might want to steer a wide berth of. But hey, we'll cover that in future videos. So remember to hit subscribe, which you should be able to do just underneath this clip, and then you'll get notified when future videos come online. So, last week we looked at what it was like to cruise as a solo traveller with MSC. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to look at guiding you through what it's like to be a solo traveller with each of the cruise lines that I've been with. Now that will include, for example, P&O, that will include Virgin, that will include Marella, that will include Princess. So there's quite a lot coming up over the next few weeks. And today we're going to look at Virgin Voyages. Now, back 6 weeks ago now, I was able to get on board Valiant Lady, which is Virgin's second cruise ship, and took a short cruise from Portsmouth in England over to Belgium and back again. Now, that cruise was 3 nights, and it was basically a bit of a sample to what Valiant Lady would be able to offer should you wish to then book a 7-night, a 10-night, a 14-night cruise further down the line. Now, what I'm not going to do in this video is spend the next 10-15 minutes telling you about how Virgin as a cruise line is different to everybody else. Because, to be honest, you could look at 1,000,001 other YouTube videos that will tell you exactly that. The one general piece of insight that I would give though is that these ships, you cannot deny, these ships are absolutely beautiful. Now, a lot of people have come out and said, oh, Virgin's definitely not a cruise line for me. Oh, I'm not too keen on the entertainment. Oh, I'm not too keen on this, that, or the next thing. But really, I haven't seen many people at all say that they don't like the ships. It is very, very clear that Virgin have spent a heck of a lot of time and a lot of money getting these ships to where they are today. And I can absolutely say these are probably, Valiant Lady anyway, was one of, if not the, highest quality cruise ship that I have ever been on. Yes, I was able to get on board within about a month of her actually being released to the market, but at that point in time, yeah, I have absolute high expectations of what the Virgin brand is going to do in the future. Now, coming away from the ship then, and let's move on to look at the solo traveller concept. So, if you go on a Virgin cruise on your own, what can you actually expect? Now, one thing that I have found from being with 7 different companies is that there is no normal experience for a solo traveller. Part of me loves that, and the other part of me, to be honest, really wishes at times that there was. Because when I get on a new cruise ship, or maybe not a new cruise ship, but certainly a new cruise line, part of me is a little bit scared of what's going to happen on that ship. I really like to know, will there be solo traveller meetups? Will there be anyone else on board that's solo? And it's so difficult to know that when you go on a new cruise ship. It's just, I find it really, really nerve-wracking. And certainly with Virgin, I was pretty worried before I got on Valiant Lady, because a lot of the reviews I had read were, to be honest, making me think it probably wasn't a cruise ship that I was going to enjoy. But yeah, over the next couple of minutes, I'll hopefully be able to tell you if that was true or not. Now, taking it all the way back to the start. Now, when you make your booking with the ship, or your booking with Virgin, you'll have to select a cabin. Now, it's great that Virgin have jumped on the bandwagon of what a lot of other mainstream cruise lines are now doing, and that is offering solo traveller cabins. Now, these cabins, you'll see a video of it on your screen now, these cabins are not large at all. They are designed for one person. They're not designed for 2, 3, 4 people, the way that some of the other cabins are. And what I would say is that while the size of it initially to a lot of people could definitely put them off, This room honestly is perfect for everything that you'll need over a shorter cruise. Now, would I be likely to book a world cruise in a solo traveller cabin? Probably not, because I genuinely think I would go insane in that type of space for that length of time. But certainly in my case, for a 3-night cruise, I've also done cruises on similar ships for 7 nights, and again, these really small solo cabins, and honestly, you have nothing to worry about. Providing you're only in the room to shower, to sleep, and yeah, to just chill out a bit in the afternoon, it's absolutely fine, because the majority of the time you'll be up on deck, you'll be using the public areas of the ship, so yeah, honestly, don't worry about the fact these rooms are quite small. The biggest benefit though is that due to the fact they're smaller, it means that you don't have to pay a full single occupancy fee as what you would with other lines. Now, I have cruised with companies in the past where they charge one person plus 40 or 50% on top of that because of the fact that you're taking the room on your own. Now, I usually won't ever book a cabin if they want me to pay more than that. Probably about 50% really is my threshold. I don't cruise on a huge budget, so for me to pay more than that, it just doesn't seem right. There's some cruise lines which are famously poor with solo travellers, and one in particular, you click on the booking and it says, oh great, each person will travel for £800, but as soon as you click on, it doubles. And straight away, it completely outprices them as a cruise line for me. So I can't justify sailing with them. So on this cruise that I did with Virgin, my single fee was probably about 20% higher than what it would have been to have had 2 people in a double cabin, which, to be fair, for me to pay one person plus 20%, that to me is excellent. And I think that rang true with the number of solo travellers that were on the ship. Now, moving on from the room then, and talking about what experience did that ship offer. So once you got on as a solo, yes, it's fine to have the room, but what else is out there? What else is available if you're cruising solo with Virgin? And I can't really believe I'm saying this, but really, there's nothing. I expected Virgin, given the fact that they pride themselves on being such a lively, hyperactive, sociable ship and such a sociable company, I expected that, yep, on day 1, go to that bar, and that's where you'll meet all the solo travellers. Day 2, there's a lunch. Day 3, don't know, maybe an excursion or whatever there might be. However, the reality was, on the sailing that I was on, there was literally nothing arranged for any solo travel meetups. Now, that to me was, to be honest, pretty gutting, because the entire time I was on the ship, I didn't meet any other solos, which definitely felt a little bit weird. It wasn't until on the final night that I met a couple of guys who are actually on the Cruising for Solos Facebook group, who you'll probably see a picture of them on your screen now. But I met them walking down a corridor one night because they had seen on Instagram that I was on the ship. I didn't know they were on, and we just happened to have this really chance encounter walking through the casino on the last night. Now, had there been solo drinks on the first night, we would have met each other straight away. And instead, what's happened is some solo travellers have met up with other people that they knew prior to getting on the ship. And then others, like me, have wandered around trying to meet people, but there doesn't really seem to be any other solo travellers there. Now, don't get me wrong, did I meet other people on that cruise? Yes, I absolutely did. I met a couple of families, and I also met some couples that were, like open for conversation at dinner and stuff, but it's definitely much more natural if you can meet up with a group of solos and you can go for dinner with them, you can go to a bar with them, you can hang out during the day with them. And unfortunately, Virgin just didn't offer that. So my one big, not even my bit of advice, my biggest plea to Virgin is, look, please organise something from a solo traveller for a solo traveller's benefit. It doesn't make sense to me that there would be absolutely nothing. You know, some cruise lines, they don't go for it big at all, and they literally have an unhosted, which means that there's no resource from the cruise line that go and support that, so you're on your own. They have an unhosted coffee, where literally all the cruise line does is they get a flask of coffee, they get 5 or 6 mugs or however many they're hopeful will turn up, and they put them on a table in a restaurant that's closed, or they maybe use a bar somewhere. And it's very much a case of, look, come grab a coffee and just chill out and chat to people for half an hour and see if you make a friend. Now, that costs almost nothing for a cruise line to do. I'm not asking for an all-you-can-eat buffet to be provided purely for the benefit of solo travellers. I'm not asking for a shore excursion to the value of £250 each. What I'm asking is even a table in a bar and a slot on that daily schedule that says solo traveller meetup. Now, the other guys that I met also couldn't really believe that with the number of solo cabins that are on that ship, and just with the nature of Virgin as a company and the image they portray, they also couldn't really believe that there just wasn't anything available. Now, moving away from the solo traveller meetups, because that's one thing that I do feel particularly strong about, and I did want to mention the crew on this video. So sometimes with, maybe not cruise ship crew as such, but certainly with land holidays, when you go and sit in a restaurant, the waiters, the waitresses can sometimes find it a bit weird that you're there on your own. And I have been with a couple of cruise lines where, oh, the service is a nightmare, because you sit at a table and they always assume that you're waiting for someone, despite the fact that when you showed up at the restaurant you said table for one, and it means that you have to ask for a menu, you have to ask for your order to be taken, you have to ask for your dessert now because there's no one coming to the table, you have to ask for a drink, and it takes the fun out of travel, to be honest. So what I would say with Virgin's crew is that something is going very, very well with either their training or just the way that they're interacting with people on board. Now, the little things which a lot of the time go unnoticed, but as a solo we appreciate it so much, is that when you go for a table for one, there's nothing worse than sitting there at a table for two across from an empty place, sitting at what looks like a table that someone just hasn't turned up to. So in all of the restaurants on Valiant, they were very, very quick to come and remove that second place setting, which ultimately meant that table for two became a really not awkward table for one, which was perfect. Now, the other thing I did notice with the crew was that their level of conversation and just, level of chat that they would have with me as a solo was absolutely brilliant. Now, while on one hand, that's really, really good and really, really positive that, you're definitely not alone on these ships, it did get me thinking, and part of me does wonder if Virgin crew are so comfortable with solo travellers because of the fact that the cruise line doesn't do anything to encourage them to meet. So it probably means that on each of their cruises, there are groups of solo travellers who are turning up to dinner, and the crew are actually so used to it that it's normal now. And I guess my big challenge would be that why accept the fact that it's just normal that happens from that cruise line? And what I would love to see in the future is events scheduled in the diary to allow people to meet each other. That would be absolutely fantastic. Now, I guess in summary, would I recommend Virgin Voyages if you're looking at your first cruise as a solo, or if you're looking at just a general cruise as a solo? And to be honest, my answer to that is yes. Now, while a lot of what I've covered in this video maybe doesn't paint a very good picture, one thing that's really, really clear from me is that the Virgin product, I don't think it's finished yet, and I don't think it's fully refined yet. Now, the reason why I say that is that from looking at vlogs and from reading blogs and from speaking to people who were on Scarlet Lady last year, it certainly looks as though Virgin are being really, really responsive to feedback. You can see some areas where the cabin decor has changed to make it feel a bit warmer. Some of the events have changed in the schedule, and I genuinely think that as Virgin continue to grow and as they continue to evolve, things like solo traveller meetups will come in, because it really doesn't make sense that they're not there at the moment. So what I would say is, let's keep the faith. Let's hope that in the future, Virgin are absolutely going to implement this. And what I would love you to do is, if you're booked on a Virgin ship, or if you're considering booking on a Virgin ship, please stop by in the comments and let me know, when you get back, was there a solo meetup? Has it changed from when I was on board? I really, really hope it does, and I would love you to tell me if it is. But for now, I think that's probably everything that I've got to walk you through from being a solo traveller with Virgin. What I would love you to do is remember to click subscribe at the bottom of the video, and next week we're going to walk through what it's like to cruise solo with P&O. But for now, thank you so much for watching as usual, and I'll speak to you all soon. Thank you. Bye.